Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about monitoring of suspended particulate matter, sulfur oxide, nitrogen oxide, and carbon monoxide, and their emission standards. Monitoring involves sampling, analysis, and regulation of different pollutants. In our fifth unit, suspended particulate matter, SO, NO, and CO emission standards only available. Monitoring and regulating the emission of suspended particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and carbon monoxide are crucial for ensuring good air quality. The government and policy makers and regulatory bodies around the world should set the emission standards for these pollutants to protect public health and the environment. These standards define maximum allowable level of these pollutants in the air, and monitoring is conducted to ensure compliance. Here is an overview of monitoring and emission standards for each of these pollutants. First, suspended particulate matter. So this comes under secondary pollutant. Based on DIA, suspended particulate matter classified into two types, PM 2.5 and PM 10. So monitoring stations are specialized equipment to collect and analyze particulate samples. To collect any pollutant, we need to fix monitoring stations in particular area and collect those data and use that for analyzing and calculating the concentration of each pollutant. Emission standards for suspended particulate matter typically specifies the maximum allowable concentration of PM 2.5 and PM 10. If it is beyond the limit, means we need to go for control methods. Sulfur dioxide. So what is sulfur dioxide? It is a pollutant, colorless gas, primarily released from combusting of fossil fuel, which is containing high amount of sulfur. And monitoring SO2 involves the measuring the concentration of SO2 in the atmospheric air. Emission standards for SO2 specify the maximum allowable concentration of SO2 emission from industrial process. Nitrogen dioxide. It is a reddish brown gas. It is produced mainly by combusting process, particularly in vehicles and power plants. The emission standards for NO2 set the maximum allowable concentration of NO2 emission is often on a hourly or annual basis depending upon the regulatory framework. Carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is colorless and odorless gas formed by incomplete combusting of carbon containing fuels. It can be emitted from the vehicles and industrial process and residential sources. Monitoring CO involves measuring the concentration of the gas in the atmosphere. The emission standards for CO establish the maximum allowable concentration of CO emission from various sources. Monitoring methods for these pollutants involves deploying air quality monitoring with specialized equipments. So these are all the emission standards and monitoring principles of suspended particulate matter, sulfur oxide and CO and their emission standard. Each pollutant have some concentration in the air, and their emission standards is beyond the limit means we should adopt the control methods.